Did you know that 90% of adults suffer from irreversible enamel erosion without even realizing it, despite brushing twice a day with the most popular dental brands on the market? We have been told for decades that fluoride is the miracle mineral that prevents decay, but what if I told you that current clinical studies are now revealing a darker side to this chemical that might actually be sabotaging your teeth's ability to heal themselves naturally? This method I'm about to share will not only help you ditch the synthetic chemicals, but will actually teach you how to remineralize your teeth from the comfort of your own home, potentially saving you thousands in dental bills and hours of painful chair time. But before we get into the how, you need to understand that your teeth are not static, dead blocks of bone. They are living, breathing parts of your body that have the capacity to regenerate under the right conditions. Yet most of us are unknowingly blocking this process every single morning. Most people miss step number 3 in this process, and that is exactly why they fail to see results. But I will explain why that step is the literal foundation of the entire system as we move forward. The fundamental problem lies in the fact that conventional toothpaste relies on a chemical crutch rather than supporting the body's innate biological processes. When you coat your teeth in fluoride, you are essentially creating a synthetic, glass-like layer over the enamel, which, while harder than natural enamel, is also much more brittle and prone to shattering under high pressure. This coating also prevents your saliva from performing its most important job, bathing your teeth in bioavailable calcium and phosphorus to fill in microscopic pores. Frustrated by persistent sensitivity or those mysterious white spots that never seem to go away, that is a clear sign that your enamel is crying out for nourishment that a tube of supermarket gel simply cannot provide. We are essentially living in an era of chemical overprotection where the surface of the tooth looks fine to the naked eye, while the internal structure begins to soften because the natural remineralization cycle has been severed by synthetic additives. Wait until you see what happened when a small test group switched to a biomimetic alternative. The results shifted the perspective of every skeptic in the room. To truly understand the danger, we have to look at how the dental industry has framed the narrative of decay versus defense. For nearly 70 years, the solution to a hole in the tooth was simply to drill and fill, with very little focus on why the demineralization happened in the first place or how to reverse a pre-cavity state. By using a substance that acts as a neurotoxin in high doses, we are essentially trading long-term systemic health for short-term localized protection. Comment yes if you've ever felt like no matter how much you brush and floss, your dentist still finds something new to drill every year, because if that's you, you are living proof that the current system is failing. But here's the twist. The human mouth actually has a built-in reset button called the salivary pellicle, a protective layer that works with the minerals in your spit to patch up damage in real time. If you've experienced that constant fuzzy feeling on your teeth even an hour after brushing, you need to listen closely to what I'm about to say next, because it means your mouth's pH is in a constant state of emergency. We are currently spending over $150 billion globally on dental care every year, yet the rate of tooth decay in children and adults is actually rising in several developed nations. This discrepancy suggests that the gold standard isn't as golden as we were led to believe, especially when you consider that fluoride actually blocks the metabolic pathways of certain beneficial bacteria that keep your gums healthy. When the mouth is stripped of its microbiome, opportunistic pathogens like Streptococcus mutans take over, producing lactic acid that melts your enamel faster than any toothpaste can repair. The game-changing tip comes at the halfway point of this video, where I'll reveal the specific ingredient that works 10 times better than fluoride without a single toxic side effect. Don't skip ahead, because if you don't understand the chemistry of why the A-B comparison matters, the natural paste won't work nearly as effectively. The real secret to success comes at the 8-minute mark, when we discuss the specific carrier oil that forces minerals back into the tooth structure. Most dental problems are actually dietary diseases that we are trying to treat with topical poisons, which is like trying to fix a crumbling house by only painting the exterior. The 30-70 rule of dental health states that 30% of the battle is the physical cleaning, but 70% is providing the biological building blocks required for the body to do the repair work itself. When we consume high levels of phytic acid and processed sugars, we create an environment where the body actually pulls calcium out of the teeth to buffer the blood's pH levels. This is known as reverse remineralization, and it is the primary reason why even diligent brushers still end up with cavities. But don't lose hope, because the transition from a state of decay to a state of repair can happen much faster than you think once you remove the chemical inhibitors. You might think your teeth are thin due to genetics, but often it is simply because they have been starved of minerals for years. But wait until you see what happens to the transparency of enamel once you start applying this natural paste correctly. Now we enter the solution phase, and this is where everything changes for your oral health journey. Instead of fluoride, we are going to focus on a molecule called nanohydroxyapatite, or NHAP. This is the exact material that makes up 97% of your tooth enamel and 70% of your dentin. It is biomimetic, meaning your body recognizes it as its own and allows it to bond directly to the surface of your teeth, filling in the microscopic tubules that cause sensitivity and reinforcing the structural integrity of the enamel wall. Most people miss step number 3 in this specific recipe, the integration of alkaline pH balancers, and without it, the minerals won't stick. So I'll explain the exact ratio to ensure you aren't just wasting your ingredients. To make this at home, you start with a base of high-quality calcium carbonate and trace mineral drops, creating a slurry that mimics the mineral profile of a perfectly healthy jawbone. Try this now. Touch the tip of your finger to the front of your teeth and feel the texture. If it isn't perfectly smooth, you already have micro-pitting that NHAP can fill tonight. Let's look at a real-world case study involving a patient named Sarah who had spent 5 years dealing with chronic molar sensitivity that made drinking cold water nearly impossible. After only 3 weeks of switching from a standard fluoride brand to a custom hydroxyapatite-rich natural paste combined with vitamin K2 and D3, her dentist noted that the shadows on her x-rays, indicating early-stage demineralization, had actually started to fill in and recede. This isn't magic, it's simply giving the biological machine the raw materials it needs to manufacture more tooth structure. Option A is continuing the cycle of toxic gels that only provide a thin shield. Option B is building a thicker, more resilient natural defense using the same stuff your body is already made of. The real secret comes at the 12-minute mark, so stay with me because the troubleshooting part is vital if you have any existing fillings. When crafting your natural remineralizing paste, you cannot overlook the importance of xylitol, a birch-derived sugar alcohol that doesn't feed bacteria, but actually starves them. Most commercial natural pastes leave this out or use a low-quality corn-derived version, but the specific interaction between xylitol and the minerals in our recipe is what creates the delivery system for the calcium. By suppressing the acid-producing bacteria, xylitol allows the mouth to maintain a neutral or slightly alkaline pH, which is the only environment where remineralization can occur. If your mouth is too acidic, no amount of minerals will help because they will be dissolved as soon as they hit the surface. This is why step number 4, incorporating an alkalizing agent like magnesium bicarbonate, is the most skipped part of the process. Yet it is the one that guarantees the glue-like bond between the paste and your tooth. If you notice your gums feeling a bit tingly, do not worry. That is actually the circulation returning to the tissues after being suppressed by years of sodium lauryl sulfate. Troubleshooting is a critical component of this transition because if X happens, meaning your teeth feel gritty, do Y, which is to increase the fineness of your mineral powder or use a more refined form of bentonite clay. Some people find that their teeth initially look whiter, then slightly yellower, before becoming a solid bone-white color. This is a normal part of the mineral density changing as the porosity of the enamel is reduced. If you have large mercury fillings, you must be careful not to use too much abrasive charcoal in your natural paste, as you don't want to disturb the seal of the metal. Instead, focus on the gentle liquid mineral soak I'll describe in just a moment. Comment go if you're ready to learn how to mix the final stage of the paste, because this specific step involves a biological catalyst that most researchers keep behind a paywall. Let's compare the traditional method with our natural protocol more closely. Conventional method A focuses on killing everything in the mouth using alcohol-based rinses and detergents, which often results in bad breath and sensitive gums once the chemical effect wears off. Natural protocol B focuses on cultivating the right environment, allowing the mouth to defend itself. If you've been struggling with morning breath that won't go away, it's a sign that your fluoride toothpaste has decimated your oral flora, leaving only the stinky anaerobic bacteria behind. By using our remineralizing paste with a touch of organic peppermint oil and myrrh, you are disinfecting while simultaneously rebuilding, which is the ultimate cheat code for long-term fresh breath and solid teeth. You see, the tooth is like a sponge, and if it's full of toxins, it can't soak up the nutrients. We first must purge the chemical buildup and wait until you see how quickly the shine returns once that film is gone. Every 2,000 characters or so, I like to remind you to take a breath and actually visualize your teeth becoming denser and stronger, because the mind-body connection plays a massive role in the endocrine signals that manage mineral distribution in your body. There is a documented, unexpected case study of a remote community that had no access to modern toothpaste, yet zero dental caries, because their local diet was rich in fermented butter oil and fish organs. This isn't a suggestion to eat fish guts, but it proves that internal health reflects on external enamel. The micro solution here is simple. If you aren't seeing progress, check your vitamin D3 levels, as this vitamin acts as the key that unlocks the door for calcium to enter the dental matrix. Try this tonight. After brushing with your natural paste, don't rinse your mouth with water. Leave the thin layer of minerals on your teeth as you sleep. This allows the nanoparticles 8 full hours of undisturbed bonding time. This is the single most effective trick for remineralizing fast, as the title suggests. But wait, there's another layer to this. What happens if you have active decay? While no paste can regrow a massive hole where the structure is completely gone, this natural paste can actually arrest the decay, hardening the softened area so it stops spreading. This is known as sclerotic dentin formation, and it is the body's way of walling off an infection. If you can stop a cavity in its tracks, you might be able to get a much smaller, non-invasive filling rather than a root canal. Most people fail because they think they can keep drinking soda and just use a better toothpaste. But as we approach the end of our breakdown, you'll see why option C is the ultimate winner. Option C is the lifestyle synergy, where you use the paste, balance your hormones, and reduce dietary stressors simultaneously. If you've been waiting for the game-changing tip, here it is. The best time to apply your remineralizing paste isn't actually after breakfast. It's immediately after your first coffee of the day, to neutralize the acid attack before it has time to sit for hours. Many people find that after 30 days of this routine, they no longer need to buy sensitive branded toothpastes that simply numb the nerves using potassium nitrate. Instead, their teeth are actually less sensitive because the dentinal tubules, the tiny tunnels that lead to the nerve, have been physically plugged with new minerals. It's a mechanical solution to a biological problem. This is a far superior method to the masking approach used by big box brands. For extended retention of the mineral layer, you might consider making mineral trays using your old whitening guards. Simply fill them with the natural paste and wear them for 20 minutes while you read or watch TV. This option A versus option B comparison highlights that one method seeks to manage symptoms while the other seeks to restore function. Troubleshooting. Tip: if you find the taste of the natural minerals too earthy, you can add a few drops of stevia and orange peel oil to the mixture to make it more palatable for kids without adding fermentable sugars. Now, as we approach the final 10% of our deep dive into the world of fluoride-free dental restoration, you are armed with more information than 99% of the population. You understand that the chemical barriers are often what prevent our teeth from achieving their maximum density, and you have the secret blueprint for a paste that doesn't just clean, it constructs. Most people are afraid to stop using fluoride because of the fear-based marketing we've been fed since childhood. But once you see the glow of naturally mineralized enamel in the mirror, you'll never want to go back to the blue and green synthetic gels again. The journey to a perfect smile doesn't require toxic exposure. It requires biological alignment and a few key ingredients found in nature. The real transformation happens over the course of the next 90 days. So consistency is absolutely paramount. Don't be discouraged if you don't wake up tomorrow with a new set of teeth. The remineralization process is measured in microns per day, but those microns add up to a lifetime of health. If you start to feel the texture of your enamel change, that is the confirmation signal that the nano-hydroxyapatite is doing its work. Watch next, my full video on healing gum disease with targeted probiotics, for deeper insights into how to handle the soft tissue side of your oral health, because remineralizing your teeth is only half the battle if your foundation isn't solid. Save this guide for the step-by-step breakdown of the exact ratios for the paste, the calcium, the magnesium, and the specific mineral drops I mentioned, so you have it handy when you go to the store. Finally, subscribe for part 2, where I reveal the specific secret food that Dr. Weston A. Price discovered was the key to tooth health in over 14 different cultures across the globe. You've taken the first step toward reclaiming your dental independence, and your body and your wallet will thank you for it in the years to come. Stop settling for superficial protection and start building real strength from the molecular level upward starting tonight.